All right, so now we're going to focus on convergent boundaries. And this is usually as part of your volcano unit. So convergent boundaries are where the plates come together. You've probably also talked about the fact that there are two different kinds of tectonic plates. There are those that are under the ocean, which are made out of basalt, and they're more dense. So whenever they come together, they're going to want to take a dive, or they're going to want to go lower because of their density. The other type of continental plate, or plate boundary, is the continental, yeah. And the continental ones are a lot thicker. They're also going to be less dense, so whenever two plates come together, the continental one is not going to want to go down. It's going to want to stay on the top. So let's take a look at what happens when two oceanic plates come together. Okay? So I'm going to use this. I'm going to do OC for ocean crust. And here's my other ocean crust. And they're going to come together. And the place where they meet is going to be the plate boundary. So what did we say? Ocean crust is very dense. So whenever it gets together, it's going to want to take a dive. It's going to want to sink down to the bottom. So the two ocean crusts come together, and whichever one is the more dense is going to want to go under the other one. This one's even going to get pulled down a little bit too. That process where it goes down is called, yep, you're right, subduction. Think about subways, submarines. Sub means to go under. So oceanic crust, meeting at a plate boundary, you're always going to get subduction. When the subduction happens, it's going to sink down, it's going to move into the mantle, and when that crust moves into the mantle, it's going to begin to melt. When it melts, it's going to make magma. And that magma is going to be less dense, so it's going to want to rise to the surface. And when it gets to the top, you got it, it's a volcano. Because we're in the middle of the ocean, we're going to get a volcanic island. So, ocean crust come together. Subduction is the process. It's going to melt in the mantle and make magma. It's going to want to rise and create a volcanic island. So what happens if we have an ocean and a continental? Well, we're going to need some space. That was easy. Okay, so now we have continental crust. It's going to be a little bit thicker. And we have oceanic crust. Ocean crust, continental crust. So what did we say? Ocean crust is more dense, always going to want to take a dive. Continental crust is a lot thicker, it's going to stay on the top. So the oceanic crust is going to want to subduct. So subduction is the process. It's going to move into the mantle, and it's going to melt and make magma. The magma is going to be less dense, and it's going to want to go up. And when it reaches the surface, it's going to create a volcanic mountain. Notice it's not an island, it's on the land. If it was in the ocean, it would be an island. But on the land, it's a volcanic mountain. So just remember, oceanic crust, more dense. It's going to want to subduct or sink down. It moves to the mantle, melts, makes magma, and rises to make a volcano. With your hands, subduction, melting, and magma makes volcanoes. Hope you have fun learning about convergent plate boundaries.